Our marriage counselor is making us divorce, but we found out that he was lying to us. What do we do now? This is OKOP, home of the craziest stories on earth. I'm Sophia, and Riley, what should OP do?
Therapists are never wrong.
Therapists, historically, have never been wrong.
How do you go through so much school and decide, oh, I should lie to people now? Yeah, there's no way that he did that. Did he do that?
Throwaway 999 says, my husband of 7 months and I had a rough time after we got married when he came back from military deployment. Screaming matches, erectile dysfunction, resentment from deployment, me feeling sexually unattractive, etc. We went to a military-funded marriage counselor for about 2 months before the therapist suddenly disappeared, saying he was getting transferred. So he didn't suddenly disappear. He said he was getting transferred.
But it must have been like too quick.
A sudden transfer. But suddenly disappeared means like he's gone.
Without a trace.
Yeah, where'd he go? And he said he continues seeing us once a week, but suddenly his phone number changed and we had no idea what happened. We just stopped counseling altogether due to scheduling issues. Our last session was around February or so. I thought the marriage counseling helped as we'd been doing better, or so I thought. But apparently my husband is still unhappy, albeit for other reasons now. Our sex life still sucks, and I feel horribly unwanted and undesirable despite being fit and attractive. Oh my God, I'm sorry, OP. We had a flight last night, and finally the substance of our individual counseling came out for the first time. We were shocked, to say the least. So we'd had both individual and couples counseling. We'd met around once a week as a couple and would alternate weeks individually. It came out last night. The counselor had been telling us individually that the problem was all the other's fault.
Because that's what you want to hear in counseling.
just pandering to whatever you want to hear. That's perfect. He gave us both some of the same story, but with some differences. He told us each that the other was being very closed off and defensive and not wanting to open up or discuss issues, that we were each blaming the other. This was while I was openly sharing with him my abandonment and anger issues and feeling insecure sexually, and providing him with background info from my previous therapy sessions with other counselors. My husband claims he would try to offer stories from his past as well, but that the counselor would actually cut him off and say he wasn't the problem.
Okay, question real quick. Why is the counselor doing this?
Do you want conspiracy theory?
Yeah, you gotta put the hat on.
Oh. I thought you want a conspiracy theory. I don't have a conspiracy theory. We're the conspiracy theory, but like you're giving.
But I want to know what you think, like why the therapist is doing this too.
I think the therapist does it for kicks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He's like, this would be really funny. I can't. It's actually John and Sam ruined the hats that I made, and so they don't stay on your head anymore. Anyway, the therapist is doing this for the kicks.
Yeah, I think like he has a boring home life, and he's like, this is how I'm gonna get the most out of my day, ruining this couple's marriage.
Ruining their marriage. What if he's really good with like everyone else? Like he has really good reviews. Everyone's like, oh my God, this is the best therapist I've ever seen. He really saved our marriage. And he's like, okay, I have such a good reputation. What if I was just a little silly? Perfect. Conspiracy solved. He told my husband privately I may have BPD and likely needed meds. This coincides chronologically with my husband out of nowhere yelling at me during arguments that I needed medication. I asked our counselor if I should see a specialist after these fights, whether I really was showing these signs, and said honestly that I would seek more intensive help if he thought it would help our marriage. He laughed at my husband in individual sessions, saying there was nothing wrong with me, that my husband was deflecting by trying to diagnose me. Does he think he's a psychiatrist? He would laugh. Ahaha. That's his laugh. He told me privately my husband was emotionally and sexually underdeveloped and would never have a healthy relationship sexually or emotionally with anyone without serious change, that I should move on, that he was not willing to change or admit to any issues and would run from all conflict. Maybe the counselor's trying to be with one of them.
Ooh.
He's trying to ruin the relationship because he's in love with one of them.
Which one do you think he's going for?
What if he's going for both of them, but he needs them both out of the way?
He needs to separate them so he can be with them individually.
Exactly. Individual sessions.
Yeah. I wonder what the vibes are during the one-on-ones.
Yeah. He's like talking to the wife. He's like, oh no, like it's not you at all. Your husband sounds like a piece of work. You should find a new husband.
Someone that's better and more
emotionally intelligent. Exactly. It's me. Hi. He is the problem. That was just a little side conspiracy. That each time the counselor tried to broach issues, my husband would clam up and get defensive. That he didn't know what it truly meant to be be married and that he suspected there was something deeply rooted in my husband's past. That was the root of all our problems. That my husband just needed more therapy. Note, we weren't paying for therapy. We got it free due to military benefits. That's good. Therapy is expensive. He told me I was very smart and attractive and deserved a partner more on my level.
Dude, she called it.
The therapist is playing the long game. This also seems like violating some patient-doctor codes.
Yeah.
My husband reports the counselor told him there was nothing wrong with him, that he was very mature and intelligent, and all our problems stemmed from my psychosis. Yikes. The aftermath. I am horrified by how many of our fights after the beginning of counseling were colored by his statements. I was treating my husband like a 13-year-old boy, and my husband kept telling me I needed psychiatric treatment. Our marriage has actually improved much after this time, but I now believe it's because I worked on my anger issues and gave my husband the benefit of the doubt, while my husband became a better communicator in arguments. My husband now has different issues with our marriage. But we are both still reeling from our conversation about the counselor last night and wondering what kind of harm it may have caused. I don't really know what I'm asking here. I had insomnia all night about this, and I just don't know what to do. That really sucks.
Not cool, guy.
Yeah, not cool. I hope he gets fired and disbarred, but like the therapist equivalent to that. Yeah, no, I know that's a lawyer thing, but what's the therapist?
Yeah, what's the therapist? I think
lose your license?
You lose your license, you have to meet with
another therapist.
Another therapist that's a narcissist 3 times a week, and then you have to go through that cycle for, till the end of time.
Until the end of this is just hell.
For however long you marriage counseled them times 2 because there's 2 people.
There we go. And then that's your punishment.
Yep, you just go crazy for the next however long.
I want to know how they brought up that conversation. The couple, they were like, well, the therapist said that you are crazy. And then they're like, wait a minute. The therapist said that about you.
That you're a 13-year-old boy.
The therapist said you're a 13-year-old boy. Yeah.
Have you gone to therapy before?
Yes.
How is it?
I liked it. Scheduling was hard, but
I don't know. How does it go? I usually use friends for therapy.
Oh, yeah. No, don't do that. Go to therapy, Riley. Everyone should go to therapy if you can and have the time and funds to do so. It's chill if you find a nice person, and hopefully you don't get this therapist because he seems not so great.
He does seem like fun.
But here's an direct question. Oh, this is from OP asking, should I report the counselor, and what are suggestions for how to move forward with my husband in this?
How do you report a counselor? Do you go to his boss?
I guess so. Yeah. You go to the company, or I don't know what if he's like individual, then maybe you go, I don't know. How do you report a therapist?
Let us know in the comments.
Relevant comments. This one is from Acheron's Hunt, perhaps. Man, that is some Dr. Lecter nonsense. I hope you can get his license yanked. Brandon23Z says, Jesus, what the F is wrong with this guy? His job is to fix relationships. He is doing the exact opposite. This is something out of an M. Night Shyamalan film. So true. Albrecht Einstein says, what would happen during the joint sessions? How did he manage to maintain the 2 sides of the story simultaneously? Ooh. That's such a good point. That's such a good point because he's lying to both of them. And if they're together, how is he doing it? Maybe he's just like really nice during that. He's like, oh, wink, wink. I'm going to pretend like you're both fine.
Yeah. It's like he's juggling a few things, which I would ask you about, but you don't juggle.
I do juggle, guys. I know how to juggle. I don't have tennis balls yet.
Got a lemon.
Oh, that's true. If you get me 2 more lemons.
Oh my gosh. Just more. She wants more. Okay. What did he say?
He would request an update of our status since last meeting. We would both give our perspectives on the latest fight or on why we thought we resolved an issue successfully. Then he would provide suggestions, but a lot of it seemed fluffy. I always resented him not confronting my husband on his issues. And I now know my husband was angry the counselor wasn't suggesting I get evaluated for BPD. Honestly, I did have issues with rage and he didn't help me at all, even when I tried to bring them up individually. I read a lot of self-help books specific to managing anger and did a lot of introspection and practice techniques on calming down. I also read some books on marriage. Our relationship has improved greatly, but I think it's because both my husband and I did a lot of self-help. Yeah, that's good that they were working on themselves.
Doing a little homework outside of therapy sessions.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Work on yourselves and don't rely on bad therapists, I guess. I had no idea what couples incapable of such introspection and self-awareness would have done with someone like him. She's like, we're just so self-aware. We're so introspective.
It's what the homework that you did. That's how they figured it out.
Yeah, they were like, we're working on ourselves. And then they would be like, hey, let's sit down. Let's have a conversation. They pieced it together like a puzzle. The strangest secret says, by law, aren't therapists supposed to keep notes or recordings of each session? OP says there were no notes. He explained it was all kept confidential as per military policy. This made sense to me at the time because a lot of military veterans don't want documentation that might hurt their careers and such. So he explained it as a policy issue meant to encourage soldiers to attend counseling instead of bottling it all up. He is covering his tracks. He's tricky therapist. Additional info from OP. I feel so stupid. I felt like something was off. I didn't include this in my post, but he would propose strategies for getting my husband to come out of his shell at the next joint session, but he wouldn't follow through. My husband says he said the same thing to him and would be flabbergasted at joint sessions when the counselor did a 180 on him. Oh my goodness. That's a lot.
This is a lot. I'm kind of happy that one, they didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah. Like at least you weren't losing a giant amount of money.
But they did lose a lot of time and trust.
Yeah, so true. So maybe that's worse.
Would you rather lose money or time and trust?
Would you rather lose, how much is like a average therapy session? Let's just say maybe they're spending around over $2,000 a month on therapy.
From February to May. 4 months, so times 4.
Would you rather spend $8,400 or lose time and trust?
Or lose 4 months of time and trust with your marriage. In a very new marriage.
Husband of 7 months.
Let us know.
Let us know in the comments. Juicy update though. This is 4 years later.
Oh, wow.
This is the juiciest of updates. I hope this is allowed. No, not allowed. I used a throwaway and don't remember my password. A lot happened since then and it occurred to me that maybe I should post an update in case anyone here was around for that.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you that we are around for that. Well, fast forward to today. My husband and I are doing great now. Yay. Congratulations. We went on a vacation. Both of us changed jobs, moved, and we are very happily married now 4 years later. We travel, adopted a couple of kitties, and bought a house in a place we both love. How we got here? We both read some self-help books, started giving each other the benefit of the doubt, got better at communicating. I left my super high-stress job. He changed careers, and everything sort of did a 180. Funny enough, my old job had been killing me, and when I'd mentioned to the counselor that I thought maybe I should find another job since it was so dysfunctional, he protested against it. Therapist strikes again. My husband and I did not report him at the time. We were concerned he would retaliate against my husband in some way, as my husband was in the armed forces for a year and a half after all this. I am embarrassed that we did not report him. We were scared and overwhelmed. I am considering calling the base's family services now and filing an official report. Not sure if it'll matter. So much time has passed. I think definitely do it because, you never know who else he is trying to break up. That's all really. You all were such a great help then. I thought I might as well post this in case anyone around here remembered. P.S. I thought to post this after we watched an M. Night Shyamalan movie recently. One of the commenters had mentioned this sounding like a film he'd make. I still laugh at the comment years later, so thank you Brandon23Z and Acheron's Hunt for that. There's more relevant comments from OP. It's hard, but I actually ended up seeing another licensed and well-reviewed therapist when I lost someone very important to me. This counselor was wonderful and really helped me. Yay! Good therapist.
It actually made my life better.
Ooh, that's what he's supposed to do. We love when a therapist actually does their job. I did my research and paid out of pocket for her. She was an angel and worth every penny. I think finding a good therapist is a lot like dating. There are some crazies, some a-holes, and some you just don't click with. Also, maybe you get what you pay for, and Dr. Lecter was free with the military.
I see. So money equals quality.
Yeah. What time? Oh, this is story time, but this is about lawyers.
Ooh, yes. Okay, story time.
Okay, story time about lawyers. I really would. The one good thing Dr. Lecter did tell me was your husband says some stupid things in arguments. He doesn't actually mean to hurt you. That's the one good thing Dr. Lecter said. said.
Hey, I mean, if you went through all that just to get that piece of gold nugget.
I don't know. This blew my mind because as someone very good with words, I couldn't understand how someone could say such hurtful things without harboring malice. But I followed his advice and was more patient when my husband would say something ridiculous. Also, finding a new job helped me a ton. I didn't recognize how much of a nervous wreck I was thanks to the godforsaken office. I became much more even-keeled overnight. This did wonders. This is on why the counselor played games, OP says. I've thought a lot about it. I think he was honestly at the end of his career and decided we were both good people with personal issues that brought out the worst in each other. My hypothesis is he didn't want to do the work and figured he'd just get us to break up and move on with our lives rather than take months to get us to realize we were just incompatible. But yeah, I decided to call the base Monday and report. Like, he sounds awful. But what if this was his reverse psychology? He's like, what if I give them a person to hate, like a third party?
Okay.
All of this is leading up. They have to figure out that I'm the bad guy.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like teamwork. And then they have to, end goal is they report me and I save their marriage.
Wow. And if that was the case, he definitely did it.
It worked.
Here's what I thought.
Okay. What do you think?
He was out of a job or he was about to be out of a job. And he's like, the only way for them to come see me is if I ruin their marriage. Then I'll have like clients.
Yeah. They keep coming.
But good on them. They
your
turned that all
marriage
around.
sounds good. I'm happy for you.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have that realization and do something about it.
Yeah. It seems like you did a lot of work and that's cool. Nice. Is that all?
That's it. That's all of it.
Oh, okay. Story time.
But yeah. So,
Oh, this was just about, cause like if
what
you,
about these lawyers?
yeah, like not, cause they were saying, OP was saying, you get what you paid for. And one time I was on a jury when I was 19, I got picked for jury duty and I was on the jury. Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I don't know. I'm going to talk about it. Anyway, well, I don't have to I won't give the deets of the case,
give
but I
all
think,
the details.
Okay. Basically it was this case. It was a vandalism case where this one guy was accused of damaging this other guy's bike. And basically the guy accused, his lawyer was like a state lawyer, so he wasn't paying, and he was just horrible. Like, I felt so bad for the guy because they had a lot of proof that he did do it. There was 8 minutes of footage of him doing it, but his lawyer was so bad and he kept like admitting that the guy did it.
Oh.
Yeah. He'd be like, and so what we're not trying to prove, or like we already know that he did it, but we're trying to prove something else. And we're like, wait, you just admitted that he did it. Yeah. So when you don't have the money to pay for the lawyer or you're getting it for free, they don't usually do the best work.
But like they had video proof. What do you like? Oh, that's
yeah.
not him. Did it look like him?
No, it looked like him. They had 8, but do you want to know the crazy thing?
What's that?
It was a hung jury because one guy on the jury was like, I don't think it's fair. That was literally his argument. We were like, do you believe that he damaged the bike? And he was like, yeah. And we're like, it was a motorbike, not just a bicycle. And we're like, do you believe that? And then do you believe that the bike belonged to this other guy? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what's the issue here? He's like, I don't know. I just don't agree with like the definitions of things. It was crazy. So it was a hung jury.
Does that mean like he got off?
No, it just means that it goes to another, like it does again.
Oh, that's annoying.
Which is annoying because it's time and money out of everyone. Like he has to go do this again, not go to work and be, and it was a hung jury.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of hung that's our last story.
You're kind of hung? When it hung up?
I'm pretty hung up that this is the end of this story. Man, I'm pretty hung up that this is the end of the story.
But don't worry, there's another story coming up.
What?
I went on a date with a therapist and now she wants to marry me. What should I do? I'm Sophia. And Sam, what should OP do?
I think OP should just get in love and get married, because then if you're in love and married with a therapist, then all of your problems are gone. They literally solve everything. No therapist marriage has ever failed.
Is that true? Are there stats to back that
There's stats.
Are you a therapist?
It is my feelings.
Anyone in the comments?
If anyone is
are you married?
Therapist
and married.
How's it going?
Because I heard that like 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah, but 100% of therapists never get divorced.
Maybe because 50% of therapists don't get married. So UTX Shadow says, and this is actually last December, but I'm always told this is a hilarious story, so I thought I'd share. Last September, my ex-wife and I filed for divorce.
Last September,
I gave you my heart. The very next day, you filed for divorce. This year, to save you from tears, we're gonna get married to a therapist. One of my best friend says I should try dating. She's never led me astray, so I say, F it, why not? First girl I match with on Hinge seems nice. We talk for a few days since I'm on a business trip and plan to go out when I get back. She's a therapist, works with neurodivergent kids. We chat a bit, all's good. We go on our first date after work on a Tuesday. I pick her up at her place, go to my favorite pizza joint in her area. Starts a bit awkward as first dates do. She then tells me, I, the therapist, can't wait to tell you I'm pregnant. Okay, weird.
Wait, what?
The therapist tells OP on their first date that she's pregnant and that she couldn't wait to tell them.
Wait. They're going on a first date.
Yeah.
And the therapist says, I have something to tell you. I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And you're the father. Wait, actually?
Yeah, there's more.
Isn't that kind of weird?
Well, that's what OP says. They say, okay, weird. Maybe the nerves. Understand we had no booze at this point. I think she's just nervous. Well, the therapist shouldn't be having any alcohol because she's pregnant.
Is that a joke? Is like she joking?
I have no idea. I think she's just nervous. OP just thinks she's nervous. Great.
Probably the pregnancy hormones.
It's just weird. A few minutes later, she's telling me about her parents who live near the Wisconsin-Minnesota border, and we are in the Chicagoland area. These parents show up and sit down with us, yet they lived in the Great White North, so they came down? What? So I'm against the wall of the booth with her dad sitting next to me. She's across from me, her mom next to her. Okay, guess I'm paying for their meal too. Double date. Great. This is actually
bizarre.
This is bizarre. This is really
You need
weird.
therapy after this first date.
Mom and dad tell me they've heard a lot about me, yada yada. How much could they know? Mom just sent you a website saying colon cancer rising.
That's so something mom would send us.
colon cancer rising in today's youth.
That is something I think mom sent me.
She did.
Wait.
No.
Wait, are you just saying a fact about me, or are you just, is this in the story?
No, mom just sent you a text. That's like colon cancer rising.
Thanks, mom.
Sorry, can you edit that out?
No, it's fine. You can give it in.
Mom and dad tell me they've heard a lot about me, yada yada. How much could they know?
They know about my colon cancer.
They talk about what it's like. No, just to be clear, OP does not have colon cancer.
And neither do I.
No one has colon cancer.
My
But
mom
it is rising in today's youth. Okay. OP says they talk about what it's like working for a vocational school. So I start freaking out as I've only said I'm a school admin, nothing more, not where I work. I say, it's great, but I'm looking to go back to the middle school or elementary next year. Dad says he can't wait to have a son-in-law like me.
Whoa, pump the brakes, daddy-o.
And mom says she can't wait to have me marry into the family. Awkward. They were drinking, so I give them a pass. OP's giving them a lot of passes.
Too many passes,
OP's
one
like,
might say.
maybe she's just nervous. Maybe their parents are just drunk.
I have a feeling that...
What's your conspiracy theory?
My conspiracy theory is that OP is not the person they think he is.
Yeah, I think that maybe,
I think the
maybe
person
they
that
mixed them up.
impregnated this first date is probably not there.
What if the therapist was like, I'm pregnant. I need to find, like, I don't know who the father is. The father's out of the picture or something like that. I need to find, sorry, I should be wearing this.
Yeah, put on your conspiracy
It doesn't
hat.
actually, you ruined them.
No, I didn't.
I should
That's
be.
John's big head.
John ruined it. I need to find someone to pose as my baby's father immediately. So I'm going to go on Hinge and hopefully he plays along.
But why?
I just told you why.
To make sure the baby isn't out of
To
wedlock?
make sure like the no.
parents.
There's no such thing as out of wedlock anymore. That's such an outdated thing, Sam.
I mean, there is such a thing as out of
No such
wedlock.
thing.
It's just,
Anyway.
it is an outdated thing.
Yeah, it's an outdated term, Sam. But I like no. So the
What
parents
would you
don't like
say?
judge or something.
But like, my daughter is not having a baby out of wedlock. My daughter will marry into a family of wealth and power.
My daughter will not marry the son of a vocational school worker.
This is such a chaotic episode. All right, let's get back on track. Let's tighten this ship.
Awkward evening continues. Yada yada. Get to know you stuff. We start leaving, and I picked up this chick, so I gotta drop her off. Grandma raised a gentleman, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's your wife.
Figured I'd do that and dip. Nope. We get back. Parents park next to me. Invite me up. Mom said she baked a great pumpkin pie earlier today.
That would get Sophia. Sophia loves pumpkin pumpkin
I
pie.
do love pumpkin pie. Well, what's like another word for shit? That's
Scheiße.
well, oh no. I love me some pumpkin pie. Decide, F it, might as well get something out of this night. That's true. I would do that. Had some pie. Truthfully, some of the best pumpkin pie I've ever had. Wow.
I guess it was worth it.
Yeah. I tried to leave and they weren't really letting me by giving me more pie or starting a new conversation topic. Best friend, one who told me to start dating, calls, asks, what's up? Took the call in the bathroom and she comes up with this plan. I'm going to go pick up my friend Eddie because she thought I shouldn't use a girl's name with his flat tire. Great. I gotten out. She says she needs to walk her dog. Annoying, yapping dog, rubbing his butt on everything and dragging his butt across the floor. Very poorly trained. Yeah, I guess it's not a dog trainer. She's just a therapist. F. Fine.
You can't win them all.
Come with and walk me down. Mom comes too. I'm standing there trying to leave as Chick is taking her dog for a poop. Mom says, it's nice to meet me, yada yada, and says, I'm so glad my daughter has found you. I didn't think she'd be able to settle down since we've had her committed 3 times, and walks away. What the F? Bomb
Why
drop.
would you say that to a potential partner?
I didn't think she'd be able to settle down because she's been committed 3 times.
We've tried to get her to settle down. We used all the straps in that joint, but she just wiggles out like Houdini every time. You must have very strong straps. Some might say a strapping young lad.
If you want to marry my daughter, you have to be prepared.
What is your not knowledge?
Once a month, she turns into a werewolf.
And she goes bananas.
I'm panicking now, rightfully so, OP, but I think it's a little late. I feel like you should have panicked a
Yeah, you
little
should
bit
have
earlier.
panicked much earlier.
Sweating a bit, I turn to get in my car and Jack is right there. Hugs me, tries to kiss me, asks to come in. No, I'm just kidding. What's the vampire thing? Will you invite me inside? You know, because they have to be invited in.
Is that a thing? I didn't know that.
Vampires can't come in unless you invite them in.
Wow, that's so respectful.
Anyway, I turn to get in my car and Chick is right there. Hugs me, tries to kiss me, yada yada, tells me, I love you and can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
This is a first date.
Yeah, this is crazy. Maybe she's suffering some sort of breakdown. Me, great, gotta go. You know, friend needs help. Bye. I get in the car. This chick is in my rear mirror and she's calling me. I pick up and she said, you didn't say you love me. Best friend calls, oops, hang on, important call, and picks up. Tells my buddy this. She's laughing her butt off.
You're laughing her whole butt off.
Okay, I'm scared at this point, thinking headlights in my rear view mirror are her. So I start speeding for the highway. She's racing after the rear mirror. I'm speeding away, get pulled over. Cop asks why. I tell him everything. Takes a good 5 to 6 minutes to get him to understand. He noticed I have Wisconsin plates. All he says is bro and gives me great advice. Never put your D in crazy. Thanks, bro, Chacho. What is this? Who are you, OP?
Bro, Chacho. I'm going to use that.
Cop feels sorry for me and escorts me to the highway. Great. Freedom. Chick texts me. I try to ghost her. Now I left out an important detail. I went on a school night wearing spirit wear with my school logo. Once you know the name, it's hard not to find, as I'm the only type of school like this in my county. I go to my boss the next day and tell him. Says I'm an effing idiot for wearing my work shirt. Laughs his butt off about the whole situation. Asks if I blocked her. Oh no, that's a good idea. So I do it. Tells me I'm an effing idiot again for not thinking this through. She figured out where I worked and starts calling my desk, asking when we are going out. Leaves a message, says she wants to be engaged by the time she's 30, which was weeks away, literally the next month since we went over our birthdays. At this point, I'm freaking out. I have an SRO, school resource officer, in my building. I tell him what happened, gave her name. He told me he'd take care of it if she came back, but also told me to move my car to the bay.
Take care of it. I feel like he's like sharpening steaks at this point and
He's
getting the
guy
garlic.
in Ratatouille. He's like, I killed a man with this thumb. I'll take care of it.
I'm thinking more that he's like a vampire hunter and he's gonna stab her
Oh,
in the
this is
heart
Buffy
with
the
a
Vampire
stake.
Slayer.
Yeah.
But also told me to move my car to the back, gated and can't see. Dude's dude's a saint and it was a great idea. Chick shows up asking to see me. Security tells her I don't work here. She gets snotty with the SRO, gets escorted out, calls my desk phone, pleading with me to give her a chance, finds my sister, my best friend, all on Facebook, tells them we are soulmates. I tell them to block her. Chick was crazy, got her to calm the F out when I told her I'm going to report her for harassment to her licensing board. All BS, no idea if that would do anything. And that, kids, is the story of how I met your mother. Kidding. But damn, was I scared of dating for a bit. Whoa, that is a hilarious story, OP.
I can imagine being scared of dating. I mean, but like, what is on your Hinge profile that is attracting these kinds of
These
people?
crazy people.
Because I've been on, Riley's been on a couple dates. I've been on a couple dates. I've never encountered this level
Crazy
of
therapists.
craziness.
Well, I think that OP ignored a couple too many red flags.
Yeah. There was a sea of red flags
Yeah.
that OP was swimming through.
I think
and
that when the parents show up, that's when you're like, oh, I have.
well, there was red flags before that.
Yeah, but like that's the last red flag.
That was the last red flag. But then you're kind of like roped in with the whole parent thing.
Well, you go, oh, it was so nice meeting you. Gotta go. Gotta
See ya.
blast. See you tomorrow.
Got a blast. Well, there was like stuff where she was like, I guess it really started with the parents where like,
Well, she says that she's pregnant.
yeah, that
Is she still
I would have,
pregnant?
that
Is
I
that
would have been
true?
like,
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's congratulations.
Right, come over here really quick. Sit on Papa's lap. Okay, so if you're going on a first date and the girl's like, hey, I'm pregnant,
Hey, I'm pregnant.
what do you do?
Whose kid is it?
Not yours. It's just, this is a first date.
Congratulations. And then I'd continue to ask her about it, make her seem like she's heard, and then find an excuse to get out of there. That's what I would do.
What would be your excuse?
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to pay the bill real quick. I'll be right back. Pay the bill. Get out of there.
Oh, so you just disappeared.
Yeah.
You just fully run away. And then she finds you on Facebook. And then she finds your school because you were wearing your school shirt.
At what point would you have left? Put your answers in the comments below.
Yeah.
Also, sorry for this chaos. It's early right now.
It's 9 a.m.
It's 9 a.m. It's at 9 a.m. everywhere in California. At
It's
least.
9 a.m. everywhere in California. 9 a.m. maybe in a couple more places.
The all the Pacific Rim.
That's a movie.
It is, but also it's like the Pacific area.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Pacific.
Am I the a-hole for reporting my sister's therapist? Do you think OP is the a-hole?
I'm going to say, based off nothing, no, because maybe the therapist was doing something bad and OP was just looking out for their sister.
So I've got a situation, Reddit, and I need some guidance. I'm the older sibling, clocking in at 25 and my sister's 20. This is kind of like our age ranges.
Almost.
Our family dynamic has always been, well, complicated. Kind of like us.
Is that true?
My parents have been together for a long time, also like us, and they always wanted a daughter, even before I was born.
Oh, so older brother, younger sister. Kinda like
Older
us.
brother, yeah, kind of like us. When I came along, they were a bit bummed, kind of like us, but not too disappointed. Unlike us, they were very disappointed. They kept trying for another child and faced some conception troubles, even seeking help from a clinic. Eventually, they succeeded, and they were overjoyed when they found out it was a girl. They told me to be a good role model and keep her safe, which made me happy as a 5-year-old. However, things changed after my sister was born. My relationship with my parents shifted dramatically. I felt sidelined, almost like I didn't matter anymore. I didn't get birthday celebrations, gifts, or a close connection with my parents. They said they had to focus on my younger sister because she was little, and I needed to understand that. Growing up, my parents treated my sister and me totally different. They made me get a job at 14 to help with bills and rent, while my sister didn't have to. Kind of like us.
That's not true. I had a job.
I never got the same treatment as her. She got new stuff, and I had to work for everything with my part-time job. Kind of like when our parents gave you my car that I had to pay for. The Honda
I had to pay for
CR-V.
that too.
No, you didn't.
This is not true. Sam's
Even
acting
though
like I didn't
I
have a
had
job.
to give
I had a
half
job.
of my earnings to my parents, my sister was their favorite, and we never got along well.
That's not true. Not like, what? Hold on.
When I turned 18, I worked hard and got into medical school, but my parents said they couldn't afford to help me out, which really annoyed me. I decided to go anyway and worked my butt off to pay for everything. Despite the challenges, I finished my degree and started started my residency.
Congratulations.
My sister just finished high school and got into this pricey private college, living on her own with our parents' full support.
Living on her own freshman year of college?
Crazy. That's like expensive.
That was not me.
That was not me
I was in
either.
a triple.
I've kind of made peace with their favoritism, keeping my distance since I barely see them, living in a different city and all. So when I visited recently, my sister shocked me by suggesting we go to therapy together. I thought it might help us patch things up, but the therapist ended up blaming me for all of my sister's issues, saying I needed to step back for her mental health. I got seriously pissed, confronted the therapist, and of course, my sister and parents took her side, leaving me fuming.
What?
Since I believe what the therapist did was unethical, I filed a complaint against her, thinking it was the right thing to do. Turns out it's not as anonymous as I thought, and now my parents are begging me to withdraw it, claiming it'll hurt the person who is apparently helping their princess.
Sounds like they've hired someone who would just tell
Like a
the
actor,
sister.
yeah.
They were like, "You're perfect."
I had enough and hightailed it out of there, driving 6 hours back to my place, still seething and feeling like I could have handled the whole mess better. Now, I can't say I'm not feeling like shit. I hate this situation. And while I don't feel like all I did was undeserving, maybe I should have handled it differently. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? I want to know what all of y'all think. Put your answers in the comments. But Sophia, what do you think? Is OP the a-hole?
I don't think so. I think that I think that that's not what a therapist is supposed to do.
Yeah.
In a group session. I don't think they're supposed to blame everything on one person.
Also, like OP was only there once to give his side of the story.
His
the
sister
therapist
invited him and then
is literally giving all this information, possibly for years, to the therapist, saying, my brother did this, my brother did that, putting all the blame. And like, you're just going to take her word for it?
Yeah. Like the therapist is not supposed to just put all the blame on one person.
That is whack as fuck.
You're supposed to I feel like in group sessions, you're supposed to be like,
Yes.
now you
And
talk.
how do you feel?
And how do you feel?
Not,
And-
I declare you guilty under the court of my law.
And isn't it like I statements? Like, I feel, I don't know. Maybe that's
I don't
wrong.
know. You've been to therapy, right?
Yeah, but not group therapy sessions.
And then this is where my sister says, so Pam, do you want to go to group therapy with me? And then she blames.
And then the therapist goes, Sam, you ruined her life.
You're guilty.
You make her record these videos at 9 a.m.
Video after video. Do you know the type of mental trauma that puts her under?
She just wants to make cookies.
Yeah, well, I don't think OP is
No,
the
I don't think so.
a-hole at all. It seems like the therapist was out of line, but I don't know how group therapy works. I've never been. If you've been to group therapy, how does it work?
If you've ever tried to file an anonymous
Call
complaint.
440-508-6567 and make sure to tell us.
Ooh, yeah, file your anonymous complaints to us.
Yeah, only you can prevent therapists from being deranged.
Imagine people sending their like therapist complaints to the OKOP.
Please do.
That'd be
We would
fun.
love that.
Yeah.
But
No.
if you
Riley
love
says no.
us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.
Messy, messy, messy.